I'm going to tell you a very common occurrence in the life of my family. We'll go to the supermarket and you might hear something like, Alejandra, por favor, deja de estarlo tocando todo. And she might come back to me and say, pero mami, es que quiero un chupete. And then I'll often come back and say something to Alejandra, no puede ser, chica, tantas chucherías. So she'll turn around to my husband and go like, Daddy, mommy won't buy me a lollipop. So people who often witness this will leaving a comment saying, oh my God, isn't she lucky? We're Meaningly and Chris Wright from Bilingual Schools Australia. Our mission is simple: bilingualism for all. Why is that? We want all children to be lucky. We want them to experience and have all the skills that come with it, such as in increasing empathy and better overall academic results. What's the problem we have encountered? In my family, for example, when we went to enroll children in an immersive program of Spanish, we had nowhere to go, and it's the same for other languages. This is a problem because they will be losing part of their identity and also their heritage, which on a grander scale, this can result in a discontent, more divided society that may lack empathy. We are targeting families that are monolingual as well as bilingual, that want to provide their children with bilingual education. What are we proposing? We're proposing a streamlined approach that goes through differentiation, through the CLIL approach. Is a content, language, and integrated learning. And we are seeking to implement a continuum that goes from childcare centers all the way to year 12. We're looking at expanding existing programs as well as implementing new languages, starting with Spanish and including Indigenous as well at some point. These are some of the other options that we offer, other services as well, that are currently not out there, like, for example, professional development for the sector, as well as recruitment, and eventually a development of a virtual reality to complement our immersion. What is the impact? Can you imagine a Canberra where one of its key features is they produce bilingual mathematicians, engineers, and so on? What impact is that going to have in the international sphere? And what sort of talent and investment is that going to attract? Our business model, we are looking at implementing our MVP, and from that gather data to explore social enterprise and decide on the actual business model. What we are looking at is to maintain the impact in the community while avoiding that loss of identity and continue that connection between the cultures. We have spoken to centers that have been are interested, and we are waiting to hear from them. We've spoken to parents. We've also formed a group looking at forming an association with the parents. We've gathered about 76 members actually in 3 days. We've done some market survey. 59 families have expressed that they would be willing to pay up to an average of $37 per day per child. Also willing to travel up to 20 minutes to provide their children with the bilingual education. We are bringing value to those families as well as to the centers because their profile would be raised, but also to the sector and the community that would want to benefit themselves from the other services that we're offering. What we ask for, $10,300 to be able to host a national CLIL conference for the professionals in the sector, as well as events for the parents to help us shape the narrative and reach the education directorate, and also participate in other accelerator programs. We are driven, passionate, and we've got growth mindset as well as a purpose that seeks to impact the community positively. Joining Simon Sinek in his problem solving there as well. Thank you.
Okay, can I maybe start that one, given I am the child of a mother who was very much like yourself? My family's Italian, so that's exactly how I grew up. The big problem I've always experienced is as soon as my brothers and I started speaking to each other, we speak to each other in English. We never spoke to each other in our our initial language, and then that translated to our parents. So I can translate instantaneously, but my spoken Italian is not very good. So the big issue has always been that conversational part and how you keep that up in an ongoing basis. So having the school is great because you're in this community, but it's how you maintain that outside of that little community that becomes the big issue in remaining bilingual. So I don't classify myself as being fluent anymore because I'm not, even though I've grown up in a bilingual family, but I can translate it instantaneously. So how do you ensure that conversational component is continued with outside of the school? Because that's where the value is.
So do you mean for the bilingual families as well as the monolinguals?
It's even more important for the monolinguals. If you don't have that conversational component, you don't actually learn the language.
Correct. So we've also got online some resources for the parents. So the parents play a key role in here. So what we're looking at is also giving development to the parents as part of the program, which would be inclusive because otherwise, as you said, it wouldn't work. So we're looking at providing that to the parents, but also online ongoing material so that they can use it. Say, if you have games, then we can provide games for the children to play them in Italian. It doesn't necessarily have to be like heavy based and feel like work, but the children have to enjoy it. And if they don't enjoy it, there's not going to be any learning happening. So obviously we also look at hosting community events where the focus would be exactly that one, engage with other children that are native, but also the cultural aspect and all the other things that help that that mission that you're talking about.
So who's your customer? It's not the child.
No, it would be their parents.
Right, and how do you convince the child that the parent is buying the right thing?
So normally, if they come from a bilingual background, you don't have to convince them because they're used to it, right? They already speak it at home. So all we're doing, we're not delivering anything new. We're delivering the same Australian curriculum in the other language. Okay, so we don't have to convince them. For the monolingual ones, if the kid doesn't want to do it, that's going to be a problem. That really is going to be a problem. But what I'm envisaging that will happen is that because, they'll be learning through the playing, then they'll enthuse each other. They actually teach each other as well, because that's the experience with my own children as well. And then they'll enthuse each other to actually do more learning. So, and to come in. And so if that happens, then that could also be a selling point and say, hey, your child really wants to learn Spanish. Would you be interested in joining the, the venture? Not the venture, sorry, the program.
That's actually my question, because I'm a little bit, I think I might have missed something really important. Is this a program that happens in any school? So you bring this language immersion experience to an existing school, or is it, I have now chosen to, just like the French language school here in Canberra, where I've chosen to enroll my child in a school where they get the full Australian curriculum, actually international curriculum, but in the French language? Which one is it?
So, we can't go to school and say, okay, or suddenly everybody's going to learn in Spanish. It has to be, do people want it? Do their parents want it? So what I'm suggesting is that there is a streamline of numbers that's in the MVP. There has to be, the school has to agree to a minimum number of natives and non-natives that want to participate in the program. program before
Yep.
launching, because otherwise this is not going to work. And it doesn't have to be everyone. It just has to be streamlined,
Yep.
and those that want to participate.
So they do this in the United States in some schools, for instance, in
Yes, they
Florida,
do.
where they
Yes,
have, it's a normal school, but you can choose to have your child in the Spanish stream. So that
absolutely.
might be native speakers, but then non-native speakers can join in. Is that, okay, got it, sorry. I'm trying to like understand the model. Yeah, okay.
Thank you.